Ok, ça marche. Ouais, impec. So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining this talk. I'm Mathieu from GoodBarber, and I'm currently head of front-end engineering in the company. So, first of all, what is GoodBarber? So, GoodBarber is an app building platform. We allow our clients to create beautiful apps by themselves without a single line of code since 2011. So as you can see, years ago, before people were talking about no code. So with that tool, you can create fully native apps. So for iOS, you can publish them on the App Store and the Google Play for Android. But we also propose a PWA version for the web technology. I'm going to share you some key figures. Today we have, I missed that slide. We have more than 3,000 customers and around 700 resellers that make more than 3,000 apps published on the store, so both iOS and Android. So it represents around 4 million apps downloaded, actually. 3 takeaways from this talk. What I'm going to show you today is how, at first look, an integrated tool like GoodBarber contains constraints, but how you can unlock all its potential. For the average user, it's designed to be simple, but for you, that is probably the elite of no-code users, I'm going to show you the constraints and how you can overcome them. So, our approach is a ready-to-use approach. Didn't work. Okay. The proof is that with GoodBarber, as soon as you click on the Create Your Apps button, your app is ready to use. So, why we decided to do it this way? We wanted to make the tool as easy to use as possible, with a very quick learning curve. And above all, what do we promise? We promise to make beautiful apps. Meaning apps that have a functional and UX consistency. We can compare no code to Lego brick, let's say. Starting from scratch, you can take them, assemble them the way you want. Us, in GoodBarber, what we are selling is not a bag of bricks that you can find. It's the complete set to build the Dark Vador helmet. You don't need to think about how it's designed or what it looks like. We put a guide to help you building it. And in our opinion, what is difficult for an app conceptor is not writing a line of code. This is not the main difficulty. The real one is formalizing functionalities. And our job as developer, more than writing code, is to design functionalities. Now, I'm going to show you in 6 points why we believe this approach is the best. Building an app or a functionality from scratch means identifying and listing all building blocks needed. And most of all, how to fit them together. All this question can generate to the user a high cognitive load or even a blank page anxiety. So what we are trying to do with GoodBarber is providing this answer and even sometimes anticipate them. So that's why we offer pre-built functionalities, our famous brick set. We think it's easier to start with a pre-built feature and customizing than starting from scratch. If we take a common feature, such as the blog post display, 90% of the time, you will find the same bricks and a similar adjustment. And you have, you have a list display, a single page, more detailed display, and on top of that, you have functionality like comment reading, posting, and sharing, bookmarking, and so on. Let's take another functionality, an authentication feature. Here again, you will find similar bricks and adjustments. You will have a login page, user profile edition page, forgotten password feature, and so on and so on. So you see that we find similarity in all features. Well, we will not let our user recreate the same sets every time. That's where the real-time saving lies. Earlier, we were talking about the implication of design decision, and we are on another here we are on another very concrete point: avoiding wasting time. We are all familiar with this function. 90% of the time, we'll find the same layout. For us, if you want the Dark Vador helmet with a mustache, you buy the brick set, you build it, and you add your specificity, the mustache. You should not take it from scratch and build all from scratch. Earlier, I was telling you that the job of a developer is to design functionalities, but it's also to share his experience. It's easy to make mistakes when we design an app. We all of us seen some apps that have a cool content but with a poor UX. And some example, you can have small icons where you're not able to touch them easily. You can find also, I already seen them, a lot of action in the same area which makes confusion for the users. So a lot of mistakes. Here at GoodBarber, we try to share our experience as apps developer by putting some safeguards to avoid common mistakes. One mistake that comes in my mind, it's that one. You can see application with too many action buttons in the header. So what we do, us in the product, in that case, we automatically switch the header configuration to add an additional menu if you try to add more than three actions. So that's what I've been presenting to you as an approach that could look restrictive. But we see it as a smart approach. Our goal is not to completely standardize our customer apps, but avoid letting them make obvious mistakes. Another key to the success and longevity of an app is to be at the top of the trend. As you know, in our industry, everything moves fast. An app can quickly look old in terms of both design or functionalities. In GoodBarber, we have a team of experts who monitor trends and update our product accordingly. A good example is the tab bar that you can see at the bottom of the screen on many applications. It has been really mainstream for a long time. Now it starts to look a bit outdated. No. There's an issue there. There was an animation where in GoodBarber we propose a completely new tab bar, rounded, more modern and floating. Once again, our promise is to create beautiful apps. They are the old, they are not the... It's the old presentation, that one. It's not Ouais, il est un peu... It's not the last version, that one. Ouais. Sorry for the delay, it's not the right presentation that is on the screen. pas pouvoir revenir sur ça. Tant pis, on va essayer d'avancer. J'aurai pas des slides en accord, mais c'est pas grave. So sorry for the issue. So the slide will not be okay. I'm gonna talk. So I was saying that I was talking about UX mistakes, but that's not only the issue you can have building an app. You can also find some technical issues. Let me give you an example. Taking back the feature of blog post list I was talking about. Imagine that my database contains hundreds, thousands of items. Common issue that we can find on the no-code tool can be performances. In that case, my request can take time to download all my items. My page can take time to be loaded, or it can even take a lot of space in memory. Another example is I want to have all my articles being available offline. So I have to set up a cache management system. So you can see that even if the app is beautiful in terms of UX, if we don't put effort in performance, it's unusable. So at GoodBarber, we have tested and optimized each set of bricks per propose. And in my blog post list example, what we did, we've set up a 24-item automatic pagination. So it means that you have the first page that displays 24 items, and automatically, while the user is scrolling, we're sending a new request to get the next page, and so on and so on. Doing that, it speeds up loading times, because the requests are short, but also maintain acceptable performance on the page for this page. What we did also, we set up a strong cache management system that allow article to be read offline. So basically, what we are doing is taking most of the technical work our side instead of our users. That's a button. It was this slide. Here, we come to 2 points that are a major challenge of our time. Data privacy and apps accessibility. So it may seem secondary when you build an app, but it starts to become essential. We work upstream to ensure that our customer don't have to think about it. We make constant effort to keep our apps compliant with data privacy regulation. A good example is in European Union GDPR. In the same way, work is being done to make all our apps accessible. And a good example is that a user with vision problem can use our apps without any issue. Why? We checked the compatibility of all the brick sets with VoiceOver. This may seem less concrete than UX or technical performance, but we believe that making beautiful apps is also making beautiful apps for all. So I've listed a number of points that may seem restrictive. But at the end, what's the point of making a customization that doesn't make sense? It's not because you can do things that you have to do things. In short, we firmly believe that the key to no-code lies in our philosophy. Beautiful apps, meaning apps that are consistent in every way, both UX, and functionalities. So when you choose GoodBarber, you're guaranteed the best results on the market. Our balance between guidance and creative liberty is our strength, we think. We might think this limits flexibility, but in fact, it's quite the opposite. And let me show you it in the next part of the talk. So now, let's take a concrete example of a guided feature and see what it is really. So I'm going to take back the most basic example we can find building apps, but maybe the most powerful, the rich text display feature, which looks really simple in its approach, but capable of responding to a wide range of use cases. You can have touristic guide application, press application, sports, tutorial, and so on and so on. So what is this feature? It's about displaying posts either on a simplified list display, like I was saying, a single page detailed display, and on top of that, feature, comments, reading, posting, bookmarking, even font size changing. So we see them, the 90% common feature. So first of all, what you need to do is to set up the data model. Us in GoodBarber, we work on a data model that we consider as the most common and accomplished for this type of feature. You can find title of the article, an author, writing date, categories to sort your item, make some filters or display them differently. You have some here, you can see them on the screenshot, but some fields that are hidden, SEO, you can choose the slug URL of your item, some metadata, and the main element of the feature, which is the rich text. Here, you can add images, videos, and text formatting as HTML. Having this model predefined allows us to propose automatically an optimized interface to manage this kind of content. So we have talked about the data we are going to display. Let's talk about how to display it. In the GoodBarber product, you can choose between various layouts that you can use as starting point for your customization. In my example of the article list, we propose 10 starting points that goes from the most classic one with a lot of items and a small thumbnail to the more visual one that have an image on the full page and only one item. And I'm going to take the example of one of them, what we call the enriched classic templates. What it is, it's a list of cells. Let's take that one. Each cell, a cell for an article that contains a thumbnail, a subtitle, a title, potentially a subtitle that is hidden in my case, some action buttons, and so on. What our engine is doing automatically, first, adapting the display for mobile, tablet, and desktop devices. This is not a configuration for us. It should be done automatically. But also some automatic management like left to right or right to left languages. So our engine, depending on the language of the app, can swap automatically the layout according to the language. But for the rest, we propose a web interface with a panel that contains parameters, the parameters that are most frequently used by our users. Let's come back to the example. You can see there, I was talking about all the labels of my cells. I can edit the color for each one of them, the font, the size, and you can see all of them. If you go down, you can find some other parameters. Let's see them fastly. Action icon color, selected, not selected, but also some more specific one, thumbnail alignment, or also thumbnail format. In GoodBarber, we have an internal rule that says if a parameter is not used by at least 10% of our customers, we don't put it in that panel. Why? We want to keep an interface as simple as possible. That is the promise I was talking about earlier. But the reality, and this is what I'm going to show you today, is that these hidden parameters are still available. They're just hidden from that panel. Well, if you are there at the No-Code Summit, it's because you are expert user, so you don't need this light and pretty interface. You don't need to have these pretty things. So if you want to take the red pill, I'm going to show you what's behind the scene. And you will directly edit these explicit parameters, and I will show you how. So let's take the red pill. So here, I have video demo. Is it working? No, not at all. You have to click. Okay, thank you. So in this demo, I'm going to show you how to add to all the cell a shadow. So I clicked on a button. I'm going to show you the button after on the next video. That will open a panel with all the parameters. Some parameters, you can see them, text font, some format, some position, are the one you saw in the panel. But a lot of them are stuff that are hidden. And what I'm doing here, I'm adding a new object called shadow with some parameter inside. Property enabled set to 1 to display it. Color, where I choose the black color. Here I'm putting position, external, by opposition of an internal shadow. A type, level 2, which is a list of type, let's say, of display of the shadow. Once I'm going to click on save, the shadow is appearing on the list. So you see that this parameter, which is not displayed there, it's not so used by your user, can be used by just clicking on this button called JSON button that will open all the parameters our engines are reading to build the app. Now that I've finished my design and I don't like this template, I want to change it. I'm going back to the list of starting point. I'm choosing another one, a more immersive one with the images full screen. And I'm going to show you the result. Don't worry. Up. I was just clicking. And you can't see it on the screen, but the shadow is applied. The colors are OK. So you see that I was talking about layout starting points. They are just starting points. They are not definitive. At any moment, you're not satisfied. You want to change it. You want to refresh your app. You can swap to another. All the parameters you set up for the first are converted to the next one. So that is also a strength of an integrated product like GoodBarber. All the setup you choose are automatically forwarded in the new layout. So don't click. Sorry. As for now, I only show you how to edit layout parameters, but you can also find some parameters that change the functional part of the app. In this example, I'm clicking on my home section with a widget, and I'm adding a new parameter, auto scroll, a new object, with property enabled set to 1. What it will do, you will see at the end of the video, it will automatically enable the automatic scroll of my item. So it's enabling also animation that we don't propose in the panel. Another example is the rate at which ads are displayed in the app. We chosen to display an ad, interstitial one, after the reading of 3 articles. But this value can be changed by editing parameters there. The display of ads is typically a safeguard we have set up because we consider that below a certain value in the UX will be degraded. But if you still want to do it to generate more revenue, you can do it by editing hidden settings. So I've given you a few examples, but there are thousands of hidden parameters like this. This means that the number of possible combinations of our product exceeds 1 billion. You can see the variety of apps behind. So for you, how to do, where to start to do that? First of all, you need to add an extension to enable this hidden parameter edition. So you need to go on our extension store that contains a lot of really specific features that you can install on your back office. You search for what we call the JSON edition feature. You install it on your app. Once installed, it will turn on a JSON button. No, wait. Sorry. No, don't worry, let it. That will appear in each brick of a set of product. And by clicking on it, you will be able to edit all parameters of that brick set. In this example, I'm going to edit my login box. So here, to make them more modern, we choose to put on all of them a white background color because it's the most used in all applications. But you can change it by using this JSON edition. So here, I'm searching the login field object, where I'm adding a background, a border color and size, and a font color. This field object have a specific formatting that you will recognize this formatting in each other field object of the app. So once I finished, I'm gonna search for the password field object, and I'm gonna redo the same. So you will recognize always the same formatting between objects. And what we did in GoodBarber, in that case, all field objects have the same configuration, but by editing all of this property, you can, one by one, choose to make a specific configuration to that field. So I'm redoing the same for the password field, border, I'm setting a color, I'm choosing white, a size, just the width of the border, I'm setting 2 in pixels, a font with a color and white. And after I'm gonna save. A small cache issue, the video. And now you can see that my fields are going transparent with a small opacity. Wait, I have this. Yeah, that's the screen at the end. So you see, yes, I'm going fast because I know my documentation, but easily you can get how to customize them and be used to do that. And we can even go further in the customization. In this demo, I'm gonna edit the color for only the focus state of my field. I'm going back to the login field object. I'm adding a new object inside, which is called focus, that will have the same format that the field, and all this property will override the default one, just in the case of the state object of the field. You see here, I'm adding a new property with a new opacity of 0.4 value that will override the 0.1 I set. And here, as you can see when I click, the color is changing. So you see that we start with really classic field that is really common with white color, and now step by step, I'm going really further in the customization to make something really specific and even animated. So how to know which parameter exists? There is a long documentation that you can have in your GoodBarber back office. This list, as I said, can look really, really long, but all of these parameters are based on our design system, which himself is based on an atomic design. That means that you will always find the same, the similar object formats and parameters. We build some let's say format atoms, and on top of that we built all our structure. We saw previously the example of the field object with the same configuration. Another example is the font object that you will find all across the app with a size, a color, and a font type. So you should not be lost across all this list. Feel free to contact our support team. They can help you find the settings you're looking for, or if they don't exist, it can happen, point you in the right direction to find another way to do what you want. Thank you for your attention, and sorry for the small technical issue we got. Do you have any question? Yes.
Do you support offline mode on your app?
Yes. we built on most of, I don't want to say all, but 90% of feature contains a strong cache management system that makes the app being available offline. At least the app will be, all the structure and the design will be okay, and all the content that you already seen will be available for your in offline mode, done automatically once you. Yeah, yeah, we have. I was talking about the blog post. The blog post feature. We have quite a sister of this feature, which is the podcast and music feature. That in addition of all the feature we have the bookmarking and downloading button that makes the podcast and our music being available offline. So even the user can choose to download that one. It's automatically done for light data model like article and so on. But for EV1, the user need to choose it. Sure.
Could you share what system is this built on? Like what programming language is it?
So we have 3 different projects because we are building native apps. So for iOS, it's Swift and a bit of Swift UI project. So UIKit and a bit of Swift UI. Kotlin for Android and PWA on top of Angular for the web part. But there are 3 different projects targeted for each platform that is built on the same time. And there's 3 different projects are consuming the same configuration file that you are editing in the web interface. So by editing just one file, you have the 3 different platforms that are updated.
Thank you so much. So I just maybe I missed something, but no, I was here from the beginning. Just wanted to know how the database part is done. Is it integrated to another outside DB like Supabase or something like this, or it's like a local DB? So I don't really know this part.
So you have 2 different possibilities. Let's say in all brick offset we propose our own, let's say, API management system. So we have our own server with DB that will store your article. After, in all the apps, you have cache management, which, let's say, it's a light database to make offline mode. But if you store your article or your blog post in your own database, we provide documentation to be able to format them in our feed, in our grammar. This will make all your article will fit to our brick offset, and it's kind of, let's say, a connector to our brick. It's kind like we normalize, the Lego brick. Yeah. So if you build the right way, you can plug your own stuff to GoodBarber.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you. The presentation is over. Feel free to go on the stand. My mates will be happy to answer to some other question. And thank you.